morning. Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of Business Morning. It's the last edition for January, not for the year 2017. It's the last edition for January 2017. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Harriet Agbinyi, live to you on Channels Television, your home for the news. So quite a lot to chew on. Of course, today being the last trading day for the month, we'll be talking to Rotimi Fakaijo to talk about how the markets how the numbers are shaping up and how investors are trading. From the first trading day of the week, we see that investors are booked profit off most of the major counters. So we'll be talking about that much later. And also on the program today, we'll talk about the commodities and actually what's actually driving that sector. Commodities, agri-commodities, and of course domestic oil prices as well, vis-a-vis what's happening on the global market. Okwemi Oguntade will be joining me on the program to talk about that. Also on the program, we'll be taking a look at some of the multinationals listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, how they fared in the last couple of quarters. I've got Usman Olubajo, who is an investment research analyst with ARM Securities, joining me in just a bit. But what else are we tracking at this time? The presidency, in conjunction with the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, will today launch its solar energy project under the Presidential Initiative for Solar Home Systems Beyond the Grid in a village in Gwagwalada, a suburb near the nation's capital, Abuja. The Presidential Initiative for Solar Home Systems is supporting the deployment of about 20,000 small-scale household solar systems to rural communities in the country in a bid to provide access to sustainable and alternative power solutions to address the immediate power requirements of the people. Now, the systems are designed for the needs of small rural households that are completely unconnected to the grid. These systems have the capacity to power 4 light bulbs, a radio and a touch light, and come with a USB port with charging cables for mobile phones, and provide up to 8 hours of lighting. So that's a very good move, especially as the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing Minister actually talked about more energy mix for 2017. So this is a welcome development, talking about clean, reliable and off-grid power. Also happening today, the management of Medview Airlines will visit the Nigerian Stock Exchange to list and present to capital market stakeholders the facts behind the listing presentation. It is the first for the year 2017 and hopefully a start of many more to come for the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and of course other companies that have been, that should be looking at the option of listing on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Now, the U.S. Agency for International Development will today launch 2 public-private partnerships that promise to boost agricultural productivity and increase household incomes in Nigeria. These agreements are expected to improve the country's agricultural sector by providing farmers with new management and commercial skills and new technologies to increase productivity and, of course, earn higher incomes. Also on track for today, it's quite a busy business day. Kojo's Capital holds its economic roundtable with a focus on Nigeria's economy in 2017. So is the economy on a recovery or maintaining status quo? That's what this particular roundtable is all about. One of many that is being held to take a look at what should happen in 2017. Of course, coming in from 2016, where the economy was declared to be in recession, and what should be done to make sure that 2017 the economy sustains or gets on the path and sustains recovery rather than maintaining status quo. Now, Nigeria's telecommunications sector contributed 1.39 trillion naira to GDP in the third quarter of 2016, 1.8% lower than the previous quarter. According to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics, the share of telecommunications in total real GDP had declined throughout 2010 to 2014, but for the last 6 quarters, growth in telecommunications has been higher, meaning the trend has reversed. Although growth in this sector remained positive in contrast with the economy as a whole, year-on-year growth nevertheless dropped in real terms from 1.5% in the previous quarter to 0.9%, the lowest rate since the third quarter of 2011. So those are some of the stories we're tracking at this time. But let's quickly review where the markets finished off on the first trading day for this week, starting, of course, with the Treasury bill segment of the market yesterday. That segment was mostly bearish as investors prepare for the PMA auction holding today. But taking a look at the numbers from the FMDQ-OTC's market now, let's see if we can get to those numbers. We notice that investors continue to favor mostly short-dated bills, as can be seen from there. So the most actively traded were the bills maturing on the 16th of February, 23rd of February, 9th of March, and 29th of March, with the various discount highs, as you can see there. But at the end of the day, total deals done was 616, valued at 177.23 billion naira. For the bonds markets, investors were quite upbeat, as you can see for the top four of the benchmark bonds traded, FGN bonds that is traded on the FMDQ-OTC's market. These were the top four from Monday's closing. And at the end of the day, value came in at 13.30 billion naira, with deals at 105. And for the equities market, it opened on a bearish note as the benchmark index dipped about 0.42% to settle at 26,217.18, with a market capitalization of 9.02 trillion naira, mostly as a result of a loss by major bellwethers, including UBA, Guarantee Trust Bank, and Dangote Cement. The market capitalization dropped about 38.2 billion naira. Volume and value came in at 143.03 million units, with a value of 755.24 million. The first poor showing of value since this year started, with